Hi students, in this session we will discuss about sovereign gold bond scheme. Why it is in news? Recently, gold bond issue priced at 4,786 rupees per gram. This is the context. In this context, we have to see what is a sovereign gold bond, what are the various dimensions involved in this bond, and also what are the benefits and limitations of this bond. And we see one question as well. What is sovereign gold bond? Sovereign gold bonds are government securities denominated in grams of gold. Here the term government security. What is government security? Government security is a tradable instrument. It can be either short-term instrument or long-term instrument, which will be having a lot of security in the market. So this sovereign gold bond is a government security denominated in grams of gold. They are substitutes for holding physical gold. This means they are not in terms of money. It's like starting from 1 gram, 2 gram, like that. The price of the bond will vary based on the price of gold. If gold value increases per gram, the bond value also increases per gram. So they are like either you purchase a gold, then it is equivalent to purchase a bond as well. So that is the sovereign gold bond. Investors purchase the bonds in cash and the bonds will be redeemed in cash on maturity. Bonds will have a period called maturity period or tenor period. That means after a certain period, you will get the returns. After redeeming this bond, you will get in cash, not in terms of gold. So it is like a substitute for gold. Here we will see government securities means tradable instruments. There are two types of government securities in terms of central, with respect to central government of India, short-term securities and long-term securities. Treasury bills are examples of short-term securities. That means they are for 1 year maturity period, below 1 year. Above 1 year comes under long-term securities. Example is government bond. So sovereign gold bond is a long-term government security. Bond is a loan instrument. That means interest is paid on the loan. So for sovereign gold bond also, interest do come for the bond purchaser. These are the examples, sovereign gold bond, and this is how bond looks like. Why this scheme was launched? Sovereign gold bond scheme was launched in 2015. Why it was launched means it was to cut down the demand for physical gold. India had to import a lot of gold from outside because there is a lot of demand for physical gold in India. To shift a part of the domestic savings used for the purchase of gold into financial savings. Here there is a issue with Indian economy, that is current account deficit. When India is having trade with outside world, India exports certain goods and exports certain services. At the same time, India imports certain goods and imports certain services. With respect to India, India is a developing country. It imports more than what it exports. Because of this development, current account deficit do take place every year. In current account deficit, crude oil and gold imports are the major constituents. Crude oil, India do not have much crude resources, so it imports from outside. It is very essential for running the economy. Whereas gold, if there is any substitute for gold, we can reduce the gold imports so that we can reduce the current account deficit. Why we need to be very worried about current account deficit? Because it is a part of balance of payment. Indian history showed that in 1990s there was a big crisis in the Indian economy. That crisis was balance of payment crisis. That means India do not have sufficient forex resources, foreign exchange reserves to purchase what it requires from outside world. So Indian economy almost collapsed in early 90s, in 1991 to be specific, and later due to various reforms, once again India come back to the track. Now India is in a strong resilient position comparing with early 1990s. In order to safeguard this economy and in order to avoid such kind of crisis in future, India should be having a plan in order to contain the current account deficit so that we can increase the forex resources, and in times of crisis these foreign reserves can be utilized. Balance of payment means it records the transactions in goods and services and assets between residents of a country, that means in this case India, with the rest of the world. Mainly balance of payments have two components. One is current account component, second one is capital account component. Current account measures the flow of goods, services and investments. So goods and services, now in this case gold and crude oil comes as goods and it will be part of current account. Capital account means it deals with foreign exchange reserves, investments, long-term investments, loans and borrowings. Current account deficit and fiscal deficit, they are known as twin deficits in Indian economy. So these are various important issues. What is current account? What is capital account? And what is twin deficit? Current account deficit and fiscal deficit combinedly called as twin deficits. In order to have a strong Indian economy, we have to reduce fiscal deficit and we should not have any current account deficit. That means we should be in a position to export more than what we import. So in this context, if we can reduce the imports of gold, we can reduce the current account deficit. At the same time, we can bring out some money which is used for purchasing gold. Now it can be transferred to bonds. So this is the reason for bringing sovereign gold bond. Now, who issue these bonds? Under what act it issues and which ministry is taking care of it? Here three issues. One is under Government Securities Act 2006. Under this act, sovereign gold bonds are issued. This scheme comes under Ministry of Finance, ministry level. The bond is issued by Reserve Bank of India on behalf of the Government of India. So two important organizations, Ministry of Finance, it is at ministry level, it is dealing with this scheme, and at other level, Reserve Bank of India is issuing this bond on behalf of Government of India. So two organizations and one act, Government Securities Act 2006. Now, how are they sold? Reserve Bank of India issue the bonds. Through various institutions, it sell the bonds into the market. One, commercial banks. Commercial banks can sell sovereign gold bond. Stock Holding Corporation of India Limited, and exchanges like National Stock Exchange of India Limited and Bombay Stock Exchange. So in exchanges also it can be sold, and designated post office is also eligible to sell sovereign gold bond. And this shows that at all level, from village level to the urban level, these sovereign gold bonds can be sold in different organizations. Now, there are certain restrictions or some eligibilities, you can say. These bonds are restricted for sale to resident individuals. That means within India, Hindu undivided families, trusts, universities and charitable institutions. And also some restrictions like 4 kgs per year for individuals. Individuals can buy sovereign gold bonds which are worth up to 4 kgs for financial year. And for every other financial year, he can increase the bond. And for trusts and other organizations, 20 kg per year is eligible. So this means it is restricted for Indians. It is not for promoting any foreign direct investment or foreign investment into these bonds. So this is what we have to understand in this eligibility criteria. Now, what are the benefits? If individuals purchase these bonds, what kind of benefits will they get? At government level, at the Indian economy level, we have understood what kind of benefits it will have. Benefits, it will reduce the imports of physical gold, and it will reduce the current account deficit, and it will improve the balance of payments also, and we can increase the forex reserves. So these are benefits at economy level. But what are the benefits? Instead of purchasing physical gold, what will be the benefit for individual if he or she purchase sovereign gold bond? If you purchase gold, physical gold, there are certain issues like how to save the physical gold and purity and impurity issues. And in order to safeguard gold, once again, other security measures should be taken care. If sovereign gold bond is taken care, if it is purchased, these issues can be tackled, and also the price of this bond is equivalent to physical gold. So that is security wise one issue, and it can be purchased from 1 gram onwards. So 1 gram onwards people can purchase these bonds. So more accessibility of buying these bonds, that means more accessibility of buying like gold. And interest wise 2.5% interest rate per annum with a tenor period or maturity period. This is a financial contract period of 8 years. So after 8 years this bond will get maturity, and after 8 years you will get money. Exit option, however, there is an exit option after 5th year onwards, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year onwards, you can take out the bond money. The capital gains at the time of redemption are exempt from the tax. What is capital gain? Any profit that arises from the sale of a capital asset is a capital gain. Gold is a capital asset, and sovereign gold bond is a capital asset. Any capital, if it is sold in the market, there is a profit. Once a profit comes, tax has to be deducted. But in this case, sovereign gold bond, this tax is exempted. So capital gains tax is exempted for sovereign gold bond. These bonds are backed by a sovereign guarantee. That means government of India itself is supporting this. So high security comparing with physical gold. These bonds can also be used as collateral for availing loans from banks and NBFCs. So this is, suppose after investing money in gold bond, and if the purchaser wants money, they can go to banks and non-banking financial companies, they can avail the loans. However, there are certain limitations. Even though it is having lot of benefits, limitations like it is a long investment, long-term investment up to 8 years. But in the Indian context, people do not have these kind of long-term plans or do not have sufficient resources to invest for very long time. And unlike physical gold, which can be sold immediately. If there is physical gold, they can sell immediately, whereas these bonds cannot be sold immediately. The interest shall be taxable as per Income Tax Act 1961. Capital gains tax is not there, whereas interest, it is a bond means loan, on loan interest do come. For this interest there is a tax. That is another limitation. Another one is long-term investment, and people cannot wait till 8 years. Sovereign gold bonds are listed on exchanges, but the trading volume are not high. If there is high volume, more people buy and more people sell. So if anyone wants to sell, they can easily sell. However, due to less volume, they cannot sell very easily. Therefore, it will be difficult to exit before maturity. That means once the amount is locked, for many people it will be locked for very long time. So these are the limitations. So this is about sovereign gold bond. There is a question in UPSC exam also. It was asked earlier. We'll see what is this question. What is or are the purpose of government sovereign gold bond scheme and gold monetization scheme? So it is to bring the idle gold lying with Indian households into economy, to promote FDI in the gold and jewelry sector, to reduce India's dependence on gold imports. Third statement is correct. Now if you see third one, 3 statements are there. Now we will go to second one. To promote FDI in gold and jewelry sector. No, it is not to promote. It is to promote bond, and it is to discourage to purchase physical gold. So second option is not right. Now 1 and 3, and 1 only 3 is right. So 1 and 3 is the right answer. So this is about sovereign gold bond. So we have seen why we are discussing and what are the various issues involved in sovereign gold bond. Thank you.